The most important thing to realize with a prosecutor is limited resources. That most times when we make reports to the police, any law enforcement agency, it goes nowhere. And we have to realize their reality of limited resources and priorities. Most important thing I could recommend to anybody who is investigating a case that is likely to go to law enforcement is to gift wrap the case, to have all the proof ready in an admissible form as possible, and think, what will it take to convince this agency to take this case, go to a prosecutor, and see these people prosecuted? Is to really put yourself in the mindset of that overworked agent with shifting priorities and say, how do I sell my case on that guy? There's a tendency among people to bring in law enforcement too early before it's done, or to expect them to significantly investigate the case. A good fraud examiner has the skills to do that investigation. And what I mean by gift wrapping is something very simple. A good forensic memo that lays out why fraud occurred, all the elements of it, how it would be proven, explains why it was fraud and not capable of any other explanation like incompetence or lack of training or things like that. And in that gift wrapping, frequently affidavits from key company employees and exhibits that contain the documentation that back that up. Those would simply be records from your accounts payable department, checks from your treasury department showing that it went to the bad guy, things like that. That basically it is a self-contained package of not only the forensic explanation of what happened, but all the proof that supports that forensic explanation. And just like a good investigation report is, it's self-contained. They don't need to go to anything else. They don't need supplementary documents. It's all there, and all they have to do is get a cup of coffee and read it. They look at ease of prosecution. Is this a witness that they can get jurisdiction over? How simple will it be to prosecute? Quite frankly, I think they take cases based on how likely they are to get a guilty plea. So for example, if your gift wrap case really is a slam dunk that this was theft, this was fraud, it's not capable of any explanation, the prosecutor says this is an easy case to clear. And it's very likely that once that report is turned over to the defense, which of course it will be, that someone will say, I have no alternative but to plead guilty. They've got me. I think they make that decision the same way we would, any of us would. I have limited resources. How do I get this case cleared as quickly as possible? Sending them credible cases that have been very well developed. When I closed my biggest case, and the person, I went to the FBI, went to the U.S. Attorney, the people were prosecuted, they pleaded guilty. The last thing the FBI agent said to me was, you know, the case you gave me was 90% complete. Next time you have another one, please bring it to me. That's how you develop a good relationship, by respecting their priorities and quite realistically viewing those priorities, saying, you know, the best way I can help myself is to really help you get this case moving along. And that's how I found it to be the most effective.